What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 1 match for NCL Season 2 or the Mombasa City League. This week we are taking on Matt and his Green Bay Golisopods. No surprise there, we ended up playing Matt in Week 1 of Season 1 as well, where we took a nice 3-0 loss to Matt. One of our 3 losses that entire season. Yeah, so big ups to Matt. Matt also finished last season with the best regular season record. He finished the season tied for 3rd, losing out in the semifinals in a really close game, and he had a fantastic season 1. But we're looking to take some revenge on him because we're 1-0 in our lifetime record against him, and so we're looking to come into this game and take revenge. So Matt's team consists of Latios, Volcarona, Donphan, Decidueye, Electros, Girder, Mega Sharpedo, Skarmory, Florges, Weezing, and Regice. I talked about this a little bit on the NCL YouTube channel for his draft breakdown, but I thought that his draft was a little bit too defensive for my liking. I thought that it was very much his playstyle, though. Sort of whittle things down with his defensive mons and then clean up with his sweepers late game. Volcarona, Latios, and Mega Sharpedo being his sweepers, although Decidueye can also be a sweeper at some points, and so can Girder. So, heading into this match, the only mon that I wasn't expecting to see was Decidueye, which he didn't bring. I didn't think Decidueye had a great matchup against things like Rotom-Heat, Alolan Sandslash, Alolan Ninetales, and Mega Pinsir. I just thought that it didn't make any sense against that team. In terms of priority options, he had Donphan with Ice Shard, Decidueye with Shadow Sneak, and Sucker Punch, Girder with Mach Punch, Mega Sharpedo with Aqua Jet. Hazard setters were Donphan with Stealth Rocks, Skarmory with Stealth Rocks and Spikes, and Weezing with Toxic Spikes. Removal options were Latios with Defog, Volcarona with Defog, Donphan with Rapid Spin, Decidueye with Defog, Skarmory with Defog, Florges with Defog. All of those defoggers led me to create my Melodic set, which is a competitive special attacking variant. Yeah, so if you haven't seen my team builder, you should check it out, but this is what we're rocking with. We're rocking with a specially defensive Rotom-Heat, an Aguavberry, max HP, max special attack Mew, Sub SVE, Mega Pinsir, Aurora Veil, Ninetales, ICMZ, Alolan Sandslash, and a competitive 2 attacks, Recover, Melodic. So, yeah, be forewarned, this game does get a little bit stally in certain parts just because there's a Florges versus Melodic for quite a lot of it, but I'll sort of skip through maybe some of those turns when we get to that if need be, or I'll just talk over it. Yeah, my thoughts going into this match is that I really wanted to pick up a Week 1 win. This is my own league, so I like doing as well as I can in this league. Looking at his team, Skarmory is definitely Fizdef for Mega Pinsir or Alolan Sandslash. It can kind of wall both of them reasonably well. In fact, I really didn't have a great way to deal with Skarmory on the physical side, so I'm going to have to deal with it on the special side. That's why I have things like Flamethrower on the Mew, is to deal with the Skarmory. Latios, I'm anticipating like a Calm Mind variant. I'm not sure if he's going to bring Calm Mind or not, but that's kind of what I'm thinking as my team. Regice is clearly there to set Aurora Veil for himself. I'll be using my Hail to set Aurora Veil. Florges is going to be a special wall I'm pretty confident in because he's got Skarmory as his physical wall. Mega Shark is just going to be a sweeper like it normally is. I don't know what moves it's going to have on it though, and I think Volcarona is going to be a Quiver Dance sweeper with a Z move. That seemed to be his typical way of bringing it last season, so we'll sort of see how it goes. So, to start the game out, I'm going to lead with Rotom-Heat because he didn't bring his ground type, so Volt Switch is pretty free. Excuse me, as he's actually going to lead with Volcarona. The scariest thing that actually looks like it 6-0s my team on paper. Mew is weak to Bug, Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Sandslash, and Mega Pinsir are all weak to Fire. He could be Grassy MZ to destroy my Melodic, and then all he would have to do is chip down Rotom-Heat, which doesn't really get recovery. So, I'm going to predict he's going to Quiver Dance turn 1, because there's really no reason for him not to. He can start breaking through my team right now, and I'm going to Toxic him. See if he's got the Lumberry or not. I know I can live another hit if he's at +1. And I just want to get him in Toxic range. I was calculating some of the damages, and Mega Pinsir Quick Attack to a standard Volcarona set is going to do between, I think it's 81 to 94%. So he's maybe in range of Mega Pinsir's Quick Attack at this point. This turn I'm going to Overheat, as he's actually going to go into the Florges. I assumed a Heal Bell, and I didn't calculate the damage on that. I'm assuming it's Spadef. I'm just going to Volt Switch out into my Melodic here, which is kind of my best way to deal... Sorry, my Mew, to get up my Stealth Rocks. That was... that was really bad. Mew to get up my Stealth Rocks, force him to Defog maybe, and get my Melodic a competitive boost. And Rocks are just going to be really good against Volcarona anyways. And we've seen now Heal Bell and Wish on this Florges. And we're now going to see Moonblast. So we've seen 3 of the moves on this Florges. I still don't know what its last move is. I'm trying to get it to defog on me, but We'll see later that Defog is not the last move that he's got on his Florges. I'm thinking maybe like HP Fire for Alolan Sandslash or something potentially even. Either way, Psychic from Mew's not doing a whole lot. Psychic was there for the Girder and the Weezing primarily. I invested enough special attack on the Mew to be able to OHKO Weezing, which I thought may have been his answer for Alolan Sandslash for Mega Pinsir as well, but it turns out to be Skarmory. Weezing was actually his best way to deal with Como if I was to bring Como. Anyways, I'm just going to U-turn out this turn as he's going to Wish, and I'm going to U-turn into my Melodic, expecting a Defog this turn, potentially, as he's actually just going to Wish again. So I can Toxic this thing. I can actually stall him out of Heal Bells here. That's kind of the way that I'm playing this. And I'm also hoping for a special attack drop on the Moonblast, because that means it's going to raise me special attack, which means I'm going to be doing more than 20% with my Stab Surf from a modest max special attack Melodic. But I'm basically just going to try and stall him out of Heal Bells here, as he's going to Wish and Heal Bell off things, and Toxic's eventually going to tick him down. In comes the Latios here on my Surf, takes that relatively well as well, and he's going to take the Wish. Now we're going to see just how much his Thunderbolt's going to do, which clearly is the best thing he has for me. It's not going to do a whole lot, 53, but I can't take another one. I'm glad I got the Toxic off because it's going to wear down the Latios a little bit, unless he's got Recovery. And now I'm going to switch to my Rotom-Heat to tank whatever Thunderbolt he wants to go for, as he actually switches up to Draco, which lets me eat that, and I'm obviously living another one, so he's going to switch out after this turn, very obviously to me, and I'm just going to get a Volt Switch off as he goes into Florges, and I get to Volt Switch back into my Melodic, I believe. Oh, sorry, I Volt Switched into Mega Pinsir here. Mega Pinsir's Frustration is going to kill this thing, and we can see what his Mega Pinsir answer is. I'm assuming it's Skarmory, and we will see that it is, in fact, the Skarmory. We're going to be able to get a big Frustration off here that does absolutely no kinds of damage, and Rocky Helmet doing a lot back in return. Now I'm going to switch into Rotom? Into Melodic, because I get a free Recover as he's going to get his Rocks up. So we both have 4 times Mons that are 4 times weak to Rocks. He is Volcarona, I have Mega Pinsir, and Rocks are up on both sides of the field. I don't really want to get a Defog off this game because I think Volcarona is more of a threat to me than Mega Pinsir is to him personally, because I have Alolan Sandslash in the back as well that can clean up late game when some of these things are weakened. As he goes Florges on my Recover turn here. And now I think this is the start of the Melodic Florges stall battle. Heal Bells into Surfs and such. He gets pretty low here, but he's actually going to show off the Protect right there, which is his last move, so that he's going to live this next hit. And then I believe he's going to Heal Bell this turn, I think, as I Ice Beam. I predicted the Latios coming in, potentially, and I also didn't want to waste a ton of Surf PP if I didn't have to. I missed Toxic here as he's going to get a Wish up, and he's basically going to get to full HP as I get another Toxic off. Finally, Moonblast comes off. I'm really hoping for the special attack drop. He hasn't thrown off a ton of Moonblasts on me because he hasn't had the time. I'm just going to keep Ice Beaming here for the most part to sort of try and catch the Latios. Switching in on a Wish is kind of what I want to do, and Surf potentially catching something like a Volcarona off. And I'm just going to keep repeating the Toxic to make sure this Florges is always on a timer, as he's going to Protect on that Toxic. I have more Toxics than he's got Heal Bells, so it's pretty free for me normally. This turn he's got the Wish in the air, but I'm going to Toxic the Skarmory, thinking that's what's going on, as he's actually going to heal up to full. If I had Surfed, that Skarmory would have been dead. In comes the Florges again, and I get a Surf off on that. Another Toxic's going to come off here, and that's sort of the game that we're going to play. I think I'm just going to keep Ice Beaming, because now that his Skarmory's at full, he's going to go into Latios, and I do get the Ice Beam off here, and I believe it's going to freeze at some point. It freezes at some point, as he shows me the roost, so he does have Recovery. It freezes here. This is the freeze. I get the freeze off, and this is kind of big. Latios being frozen means that he can't deal with my Melodic, because he doesn't have the Thunderbolt that can two-shot me, so he has to go back into his Florges to try and Heal Bell this off, but his Florges is still Toxic. So you'll notice Florges is Toxic and coming in. I'm going to get the Ice Beam off on it. And I get an Ice Beam crit, which really sucks for him, as he takes more Toxic damage. And now I get a Surf off, which is another crit, which again really sucks for him. He throws a Wish in the air, but he's dying to Toxic that turn. So we get 2 crits in a row on the Florges, which very much so mattered. In comes the Latios. He's going to try and break out of his freeze. And if he does, he can get a lot of damage off of me and potentially soak the Wish, or break out of the freeze, get a Roost off, and then get the Wish, I think was his play. he is frozen solid, unfortunately, and I get to kill his Latios with Ice Beam. So Melodic takes down the Florges and his one of the bigger threats to my team in Latios, probably the least threatening of his 3 sweepers that he brought to my team, just because I have Alolan Sandslash in the back, which threatens out this Latios, and we've seen that it's not Scarfed, and it's not Life Orb, so I'm thinking maybe it's a Z Crystal or something like that. In comes the Skarmory, and this thing cannot beat my Melodic, but he's just going to go for Brave Birds and try and get my Melodic down. I'm not running defensive investment, so from now I'm just going to recover until he kills himself with his own Brave Bird recoil. And that's going to leave me an okay amount of HP, but not the best possible. So he's just going to kill himself with Brave Bird right here. And then, in my mind, you go Mega Sharpedo to break through me, and then Mega Sharpedo kind of just wins at that point with enough speed boost. Crunch is doing about 52. I decide here that it's not worth it, so I'm just going to Surf him this turn, get as much damage off as I can for Mega Pinsir to quick attack this and kill it. And he's actually going to get the defense drop here, which gives me my competitive boost, and Surf is going to Oko his Sharpedo. Quite unfortunate, but that wouldn't have happened if not for Moonblast and Crunch defense drops and stuff like that. I think it's like a 20% chance for Crunch, 20% chance for Moonblast to lower special attack or something like that. I've had Melodic in now for a while, a lot of turns, and so it was kind of just imminent that a special attack drop was going to come. Very unfortunate for Matt, because I do believe Sharpedo could have swept me, potentially. Aqua Jet wasn't doing anything to my Mega Pinsir, to be honest. Like, it wasn't killing me after Rocks, so he would have had to play around with rolls on my quick attack against him, and that's kind of why I just went for Surf, because it was the strongest move I had to hit the Mega Shark, and I didn't want to Toxicate necessarily. So now in comes the Volcarona. He's just going to kill me here and takes the Rocks damage, unfortunately. I was fine with him killing me here. I was just sacking off Melodic. It doesn't really do anything against anything anymore. Mega Pinsir comes in here now. This is the only Mon that I can revenge kill the Volcarona with on my team, unfortunately, because he got his Rocks up. Unless I wanted to sack off Alolan Ninetales and then go into Alolan Sandslash, which could have been the play as well, but I'd rather get Mega Pinsir some kills, because I'm kind of gunning for Mega Pinsir to be one of the kill leaders this season. So Mega Pinsir is going to come in here, and I thought about clicking Quick Attack, but we've seen the Quiver Dance, so I'm really kind of not I'm assuming this is not Scarf Volcarona, which it still could be. He could be baiting me with Quiver Dance Scarf, but I don't think it's going to be Scarf. We've seen it's not Lump, so I don't know what to think, but I'm going to click Frustration, because Mega Pinsir should outspeed this naturally, and I don't need to Quick Attack it to pick it off. And I'm going for the Frustration, and he's Koba Berry. We do kill through the Koba Berry. That is ingenious prep on Matt's part. All the props in the world to Matt for the Koba Berry play there. That's like incredible prep. I don't even know what to say about that, honestly. Like, it's just ingenious that he brought Koba Berry to deal with Mega Pinsir revenge killing him, because that was like the only thing that I had for Volcarona on my entire team was Mega Pinsir. So yeah, again, shoutouts to Matt, all the props in the world to Matt for that play. Fantastic prep on his part. However, I did click Frustration for a reason, right? I was already going to outspeed, and in case he was Koba Berry, I didn't think of it at the time, but it was a very logical decision. In case he was Koba Berry, Frustration was going to do more. Quick Attack may or may not have killed there based on the Koba Berry damage. It was going to do between 80 and 94, I think I said. So there was a chance that cut that in half that I actually do kill the Volcarona even with my Quick Attack. So Rocks were really clutch, because I wouldn't have been able to pick it off with a Quick Attack earlier. And Volcarona probably could have swept my team in turn 1 if I hadn't known that. Except I think I did have Rock Slide on Alolan Sandslash, so maybe not, because he wasn't Chardy, he was Koba. Anyways, in comes the Regice, his last Mon, takes the Rocks damage, which is pretty clutch. I'm going to get my Frustration off here. It's not going to do quite enough. I'm not carrying any more. I'm not carrying Fighting coverage for it. I'm just carrying Mono Flying coverage on the Mega Pinsir, and an Ice Beam is going to take me out. But luckily for me, this lets Mew come in, and Mew is going to be able to kill this thing with a Flamethrower. I know Mew is going to outspeed, and we pick up the win 4-0. Alolan Ninetales and Alolan Sandslash not even seeing the field. I'm very pleased with how this game went. Melodic put in so much work this game. Mega Pinsir also put a lot of offensive pressure on his team, more than I was expecting, to be honest, despite the fact that Volcarona was putting a lot of offensive pressure on my team. So either way, that's sort of how the game works out, and Unfortunate for Matt that I got 2 crits in a row and a freeze within the same area, so I do feel a little bit guilty that I hacked him, but eventually that Florges would have died to toxic damage at some point. He would have run out of heal bells, and toxic would have started racking up on it. Melodic can basically freely recover on the Florges, and even if he didn't, even if he would have stayed in on Florges against Melodic or whatever, eventually a Moonblast would have dropped my special attack and I would have got a competitive boost, and then it would have been even worse for him. So I don't necessarily feel that I won because of hacks. I also did still have a Lowland Sandslash in the back, ready to clean up late game. It wasn't asked to, wasn't needed to. The only thing stopping a Lowland Sandslash from cleaning up late game was Skarmory not being weakened and Mega Sharpedo being alive. So as soon as Mega Sharpedo was dead and Skarmory was weakened / dead, a Lowland Sandslash would have 100% won me that game. Iron Head would have destroyed the Regice. I had Rock Slide for the Volcarona, so unless I missed the Rock Slide, there was something going on there. Latios, it didn't matter. I had Icium Z, Icicle Crash, that would have destroyed it. Florges would have been bopped by an Iron Head, so it really came down to Mega Shark being weakened or dead, and not faster than my Lowland Sandslash at the very least, and Skarmory being weakened. Otherwise, I could have used Icium Z on the Skarmory, which would have done quite a bit. Anyways, that's my sort of theory modding for the game. Next week, we take on Corona and the Seattle Raptors. This is a very strange team. So I will see you guys for the team builder for that.